Hello, it's Dr. Scott. I'm standing on a ridge off Skyline Boulevard, high above Portola Valley, just north of Foothill College, remembering that Juan Gaspar de Portola in 1769 finally was the first Spaniard to figure out from high on this ridge that there was a bay, a huge bay, the largest bay in the Western Hemisphere, on the other side of the ridge, coming up out of what is the Pacific Ocean down there. It's just a white band of fog now. And that's one reason the Spanish never figured it out. Our beautiful bay cloaked itself in fog for almost 200 years after Columbus. And then finally, the Spanish, following Native American trails, came to the top of the ridge and discovered what we now think of as the Bay Area. But I'm looking back in the other direction now, where you are, because this is what they found. This intensely beautiful, rich forest of redwoods, acres of grassland and oak, saturated with elk and grizzlies and deer and wildfowl of all kinds. The Serengeti of North America, one of the richest ecosystems on the planet, and they didn't know it was there until they finally stumbled up out of the fog and looked down the other way. So that was 1769. Within just 100 years, in 1869, we complete the first transcontinental railroad from St. Louis all the way across the Sierra Nevada, unknown to the Spanish at the time, to here in San Francisco. And of course, it was in 1776 that one of Portola's compadres in exploration, Junipero Serra, came up what we now call the El Camino Real, which was really just Native American trails, and founded the mission of San Francisco in 1776, exactly the same year that on the other side of the continent, a certain group of English colonists was signing something they called the Declaration of Independence. So this is what the Spanish found, this Ohlone, that's the word that we use now for the native people of the Bay Area. This Ohlone place of such beauty and splendor and wealth and richness, with languages on one side of the bay and the other as different as Chinese is from English. Completely different language families, dozens of different tribes and tribelets. It was an intensely multicultural and beautiful and wealthy place. But the other thing the Spaniards found, in addition to this wealth, was men sleeping with men, women sleeping with women. And as the Spanish padres and the Spanish conquistadors rushed in to break them apart, the natives kept saying, wait, you don't understand. They're not fooling around. They're married. That's his wife, that man. That's her husband, that man. But the Spanish had no cultural capacity whatsoever to recognize or honor same-sex relationships in the same way that the Native Americans of California did. And I have to emphasize, there's hundreds of different Native American tribes across the Americas with hundreds of different customs. But today, many of them do recognize what we call the Two-Spirit tradition. The Two-Spirit tradition meaning that there's another gender, a gender that blends both male and female capacities, and was treated with respect, in fact, honored as shamans, honored as tribal leaders, honored as counselors, honored with the wisdom that they brought because they could see both sides of the world. As we, from this ridge, can see the past, which was before the Spanish, and the future, which is right over there on the other side. If I walked over the top, you would see Silicon Valley, and maybe even the future.